Have you enjoyed the Housing Technology Conference?
I've loved housing technology. No, I have. Genuinely, I'm not just saying that. To be in a room with all the guys who have got such a huge amount of influence with affordable homes and with housing associations is fantastic, actually. I'm just hoping in some ways I've inspired them to embrace technology and innovation and push on what they do.
What were your early influences in terms of housing?
I suppose my family home. I was brought up in a 1970s council house. The house was so simple and so well designed and so well planned out. It was a fantastic place to live. I didn't realise actually how good it was until years later when I became an architect and really started to look at how the spaces worked. It was efficient, it was affordable and really well planned.
You clearly have a passion for using every available space cleverly.
The industry is starting to really rethink how the housing unit, it's a horrible word that here using the word unit, but the housing building, if you like, can do many, many different things, particularly with things like multifunctional space, so rooms doing lots of different things. Because if you think about it, we only use the bedroom when we sleep, generally, and it's just wasted space at other times during the day, so why can't that space serve another function and purpose at other times of the day?
What is the single most important thing that housing associations should consider when renovating housing stock?
I think probably the one thing to consider is comfort. Comfort is a word that captures so many different things. I think if you're in a comfortable home, you feel stable, you feel content, and that's a brilliant mindset to be in. And to create a comfortable home takes lots of different things. You know, decent insulation standards of an old building, reasonable levels of ventilation, but you want to minimise drafts, you know, a decent quality of space, decent natural light, a nice view might be nice as well. You know, so to get all of those things to come together where you can actually walk into a space and say, this is a comfortable home, this is a good place to live, then I think that would be amazing for housing associations to achieve it.
I know that you are the ambassador for Shelter, the homeless charity. Can you tell me a little bit more about the work that you do with them?
Shelter is a charity that's really close to my heart, actually. I think the work they do is incredible. When you say homeless, people just think about people lying in sleeping bags. It's much more than that. You know, there's so many ordinary families, if you like, you know, people like you and me, who are sometimes only a couple of steps away from being categorised as being homeless. Now, they're not living on the streets, but they're in temporary accommodation and bed and breakfasts, and all of that is not only an awful place for them to live because it's quite unstable. It's costing, you know, local councils an absolute fortune. And actually the knock-on effect, which people might not be aware of, is when you've got unstable families staying in poor temporary accommodation, it has a knock-on effect on the education system because the kids can't do their homework properly at night. You know, they're not able to focus because you might have a mum and dad and 3 or 4 kids sleeping in a room, you know, smaller than the one that we're in now. And worse than that, if they're in very poor conditions, it can affect their health. So I know a lot of kids who have got breathing problems and asthma and who haven't got to see their doctor and GP all the time, so it becomes a burden on the health service. The sooner we wake up to how much the housing crisis is having an impact on every aspect of today's society, the sooner we can start to turn it around. And Shelter are just doing amazing work on that.
Should housing associations and builders of affordable homes be more imaginative in their vision for tenants?
I think all of us need to be more imaginative. I mean, I push myself all the time to, you know, think outside the box and be more creative. I think, you know, the housing associations can be, you know, they can be a bit bureaucratic. You know, they can be tied up in lots of red tape. They are highly regulated, which in some ways is a good thing because we're keeping control. But on the other hand, I wonder whether it stifles creativity sometimes. So it's just about finding that right balance. I think all developers, all house builders, all manufacturers of building products, all housing associations should be pushed as much as possible to really change the industry because it hasn't worked in the last 30 years.
These days, housing associations are by and large run as businesses. How important do you believe it is to the success of a business to be open to new ideas and embrace new technologies and innovations?
I think it's everything. You know, business is business at the end of the day, and I don't have any issues with property companies or even housing associations making a profit. It's a case of what they do with that profit. All too often in the property game, people play the short-term game. You know, they want to get in there quick, they want to maximise their profit and maybe get out again and move on to the next project and the next project and the next project. I think what housing associations are brilliant at is having a really long-term investment in every way in what they do. But we need to innovate more. We need to embrace technology more. And it's a brave person and a brave housing association to take that step. But those that do it will survive longer, I think, and do a better job.
Any new initiatives planned for the future?
Do you know what? I've got enough initiatives on my plate at the minute. You know, the Empty Homes campaign is at the beginning of the campaign. I mean, in 2 years, we've reduced the number from 260,000 empty homes down to about 240,000, which is brilliant because it was going the other way. It's a horrible phrase, but we need that joined up thinking of everybody really coming together with a collective ambition to make a difference. And that's the only way we're going to turn it around. And anything I can do to help that, I'll be there.
Do you think that people understand that architects are the key element in transforming buildings?
One of the problems with architects is we've given too much away, really. We've lost a lot of control. We used to be called the master builder. We used to control all elements of the process. We used to really bring all the right people together and depend on craftsmen to do their job in a certain way. So now project managers have stepped in and quantity surveyors have stepped in and all of these new trades have been formed. So architects need to get back in the game a little bit more. I think what they're brilliant at is good design and realising good design and adding quality of life value to great design.
Clearly you love your work. Your enthusiasm shines through. How would you advise young people coming into housing to approach their work?
I get excited about the next generation more than anyone. I think I kind of wish I was born maybe just 3 or 4 years ago, to be honest with you, because I think the future is pretty exciting when you look at technology and the advances in technology and innovation. I watch my kids sitting there on Minecraft. You know Minecraft? They sit there on Minecraft building these worlds and these structures and pieces of architecture. My daughter's only 6 years old and she can do it better than me. So if 6-year-olds are designing spaces in Minecraft at the level they are, then I think the future is really exciting. And the iPad and those apps and those pieces of software that are being designed are giving them the tools to do really exciting things.
Are you still working with the government as an advisor on their empty homes policy?
Yeah, I mean, I'm working with the government on empty homes and on housing generally. It's not just exclusive to empty homes. It's probably the hardest thing I've ever taken on, to be honest with you. But I think if you don't engage with government, then you're not able to then engage with local authorities. You're not then engaged with housing associations and the businesses that help support what government needs. So as much as I can bridge all of those gaps and try and bring people together to make a difference, I'll do it.
George, many thanks for presenting today. It's been a pleasure to meet you.
My pleasure.
Thank you very much.